Martial law in South Korea, killer rodent, then call PETA, human shield, CEO, deny, defend, depose. Railway bomb in Pakistan, eat the rich, Notre Dame, man or bear, that's not fair, Insta, Gypsy Rose. Orange paint on Stonehenge, glaciers melting in the Alps, hottest year it's ever been, Hurricane Helene. Generation Alpha, civil war in Syria, German government collapse, feels like I am in a trance. We didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire, but we reignited, now we're trying to fight it.
It made the sound. That sound means we're supposed to do something. What are we doing?
We're recording our podcast, James, the Leftist Lens. Weekly podcast where we go over how we feel about things that are in the news.
Yes, and it should be an indication of how you should feel too. And if you don't feel the way we feel, you need to get your fucking head checked because there's something ain't right with you.
Yeah. So last week a ton of stuff happened. Not as much happened this week, but the big story is they caught the guy who deleted that CEO in Manhattan.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's the part that I'm struggling with a little bit, because in the court of public opinion, and these are people who are advocates for this guy, they have convicted him. In the court of public opinion, the entire meme of Luigi Mangione and the hero of the people means that they've convicted him of this crime. And Luigi's pleading not guilty and claiming the evidence was planted and other things. It's all a little bizarre to me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, the discourse on TikTok has been weird about this, I think. But anyway, Luigi Mangione was picked up at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, sold out by a McDonald's employee. And
was it an employer or a customer? Because I saw an interview with somebody who's clearly a customer that said that he called the cops also. It may have been more than one person.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But allegedly, the person, the McDonald's employee, was not eligible for the reward, which is weird to me that this whole reward thing, you have to call a specific number. I mean, what's that about?
Yeah, I saw a breakdown by I don't even know how he says his name, Zevi, XEVI on TikTok. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's a black guy. He does incredible research and just does stories about stuff, tells stuff. But he went over the how the reward system works, and apparently both the $10,000 reward that's given out by the Manhattan police and the $50,000 reward that's given out by the FBI, you don't just get that. The police reward was like $2,500 if he's indicted and $3,500 if he's convicted or something. And it's a board at those places that decides whether you're eligible for it or not.
No, it's just all the fucking.
So I'm curious if rewards ever get paid out.
Right. Yeah, I am too. It's a good point. It's almost like what is it? Not a finder's fee, but a referral fee with an employer. Like with my employer, that said, if you find somebody that will work for us, we'll pay you $10,000 if they're eligible for a TS clearance, and we'll pay you $5,000. But there's all sorts of minutia in that. They got to make it through 3 months of employment, and the person being hired has to achieve certain things. It's a fucking scam. Everything's a scam.
Everything is a scam. This whole country is a scam.
It really is.
Well, anyway, so when the cops approached him at that McDonald's, they apparently found him with all the evidence they needed to convict him. He had a backpack with the gun in it that was used, the notebook where he described what he was going to do and like how he was planning it. I don't remember what else was in there, but anyway, that's kind of odd. Like, why, if I were to commit a crime like that, I wouldn't carry that stuff around with me days later. That's weird.
Unless you wanted to be caught.
Right. So some people think that he was caught intentionally, which why? I don't understand. But
but I've got a theory on that too, because and the other problem is that these so-called manifestos that were out there, several of them have been debunked as having not been written by him, have nothing to do with him. They were very well written, and for the most part, but not written by the guy. If he had if this wasn't, and first of all, I don't think that this meets the criteria for like a crime of passion. This took planning. He needed to find out where this guy was going to be, and how he did that, I'm not exactly sure, but he did, and that would take time. And then the gun, if it's a true ghost gun that has, the majority of its parts 3D printing, he had to go through the process. There's a lot of time involved here. So if he's got an overarching agenda it sounds like a movie plot. It is a movie plot to put the system on trial. That's why he would do this way. That's why he would make sure that he got caught. Now, did he have to have that stuff on him in order to get caught? No, he could turn himself in. And the problem with, if he has this overarching agenda, he would have, I don't know, would he have pled guilty? Because would that give him the opportunity to then speak in court to the corruption of the healthcare industry and so forth? I don't know. It is, now I'm confused.
I'm confused too. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the trial goes. Assuming there is one. Currently, Manhattan grand jury is hearing evidence. That's the thing. Like, I understand how grand juries work. They present the case to a jury of peers to basically as a trial run to see if they have enough evidence to charge and convict, right? They don't have to do that though, do they? Like if they just thought they had the evidence, they could just charge, right?
It is at the discretion of the prosecutor to get a grand jury indictment, which I guess allows for elevated charges eventually in the hearing and so forth. So if they think they've got a really big fish, that's what they're going to do. They're going to get a grand jury to.
I see.
To seal
well,
up
the other things have been happening around the country where Deny, Defend, and Depose has been spray painted on bridges. I've seen at least 2 or 3 of those. There was a highway sign that was hijacked and was displaying a message.
Did they ever find out who did that? That's awesome.
I don't know. I do know those are easy. Those are easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, people have done that before where they've usually put funny things on there, memes or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was kind of interesting. And wanted posters with pictures of CEOs went up around New York City too.
I want those wanted posters to be put up in the cities where these CEOs work and live. I think that would have a much greater effect. They walk out of their office building and see their face on a fucking wanted poster.
Yeah.
I would love that.
There are some billboards too that are, calling out the CEOs. And in doing that, I feel like you're more or less defending Luigi. Also, another interesting thing is that on the Nintendo store, Luigi stuff is selling out.
There's fucking t-shirts and merch like the same day that fucking
right?
capitalism dug its heels in and said, yeah, we're gonna make money off of this.
Yeah.
They're claiming that they're gonna give I've seen a couple of them, at least t-shirt makers and so forth. We're gonna give the proceeds to Luigi's legal defense fund. Are you really? I wonder. I don't trust you.
Yeah, I don't know. Luigi's original lawyer said he wasn't interested in taking money from people.
Yeah.
But he's got a new lawyer now. We'll talk about that in a second.
Well, the guy that he hired, who is a cross between Saul Goodman and Joe Pesci from My Cousin Vinny, is not a court-appointed lawyer. He was hired.
Yeah, he was.
And don't get it twisted. Mangione comes from a wealthy family, and they can afford, and probably he alone can afford the legal representation.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, other things happen. I don't know if it's hard to tell if people lie on the internet all the time, but on Reddit and on Twitter, I saw lots of people posting about medical procedures that their insurance company had been denying were suddenly approved after this.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Hard to know if that's true, but lots of people were saying that. But we know one person didn't get their care approved by their insurance company, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Brianna Boston in Florida.
Yep.
She was on the phone with Blue Cross Blue Shield trying to get a medical procedure approved. And when they denied it, she said, deny, depose. You people are next, was what she said to the person she was talking to on the phone. So now she was charged with threatening a mass shooting.
It's fucking ridiculous. it's go ahead, carry on.
Yeah, so she was charged with that. She's facing 15 years. And the judge set $100,000 bail. Now, why was that, James?
The judge said openly in court, I believe this amount is fair given she said the status of the country, the mood, and interpret that as the mood of the country. Bail is set according to the assessed flight risk of the individual. This bail explicitly was not set for according to that parameter, to whatever was assessed. The judge said it in plain English. The country's upset. The country's whatever. The country is thinking and feeling this. Therefore, your bail is going to be this amount. That's fucking. Why isn't the ACLU just fucking hammering this fucking judge, this county, this sheriff's department? That sheriff's a fucking piece of shit, by the way. You see him on TikTok all the time. He's that goofy fucking hick that is holding up pictures of people they arrested this week, and he's he's a fucking idiot. Anyway, why is the ACLU not ramming themselves down the throats of this fucking judge? Why?
I don't know. I'm disappointed in the media and the politicians and how, man, my governor, Josh Shapiro, he gave an impassioned press conference where he talked about the rule of law and how violence isn't the answer.
Fuck you.
Are we going to ignore that denying someone healthcare is in fact violence? And that happens every day.
Yep. Corporate violence is the norm.
There's a difference between legal and moral too. That's another thing. Like, it may be legal for the insurance company to deny you healthcare that kills you, but that's not moral.
Correct.
Conversely, Luigi, what he did, definitely illegal. But I could form an argument that it was moral.
I'm 100% behind that argument, no matter what form it takes, as long as it winds up with it's justifiable, which it is.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how this is going to affect other things. One thing that did happen is not just United Healthcare, but health insurance stock prices were plummeting all week. And the only thing I can think of is that investors are worried that this is going to actually spark the universal healthcare discussion again, which if that were to happen, that would effectively put health insurance companies out of business.
Yeah, unfortunately, what we have is an incoming administration that is dumb as dog shit, that is never even going to have that conversation or allow the conversation to exist.
True. But I would also like to caution people. We haven't heard the Democrats talk about it in 15 or 16 years.
Yeah.
I don't think they're about to start talking about it again either. They are fully bought by corporate America now.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think this isn't going to actually get us that. I wish it would, but I don't think it is. But we'll see. But anyway, Luigi, I don't know if he hired a second lawyer or if he replaced his original lawyer.
Well, I think this person you're about to talk about is to represent him in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he hired Karen Friedman Niflo, who I know because she is a co-host of a podcast that I follow, the Legal AF podcast, which is on the Midas Touch Network, where they just talk about legal issues for a long time. They were talking about Trump's legal issues, but they talk about other things. But she's a former prosecutor, and he hired her to represent him.
She's a former prosecutor in the Manhattan DA office. Yeah. Yep. I think he's got good representation locked down.
I'm sad to say that there probably won't be cameras in the courtroom because that's a trial I would love to watch, but we're probably not going to. Just have to read about it.
Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. I had a thought. Never mind. Carry on. Whoa, wait a second. Never mind. I lost it again. Damn it. Anyway.
Is it about Luigi? Because we're going to move on from Luigi.
I don't know if it was, but there was a point on Brianna Boston. I have made the suggestion that if we really need to support this woman. This woman is being egregiously abused by the legal system. There are people who are trying to raise funds for her and so on and so forth. That's all well and good. But Lakeland, Florida, which is where this is all going down, is about 3 hours from where I am. I have stated clearly and explicitly, I'm not going to be the only one doing this, by the way, because that's pointless. That'd be ridiculous. I would love to see a large number of us, whatever her hearing is scheduled, show up at the court in support for her. And if anybody is in the area that is willing to do this, we need numbers in excess of 50, 60 people. But I think it would be the best thing that we could do in this case. So there's my offer. I'm not offering to pay for your fucking travel. I'm saying if you live in the area and are willing to do this, speak up and we can coordinate. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think that's likely to happen.
I hope so.
Because there is a lot of support for her. But yeah. All right, moving on. Last week we talked about the Korean president who declared martial law and then had the what do they call it? Their Congress, but it's not called that. After the
Parliament?
Assembly.
Oh, the Assembly. Okay.
Their Assembly overturn it. And last week they had voted to impeach him, but the conservative parties didn't show up, so they didn't have a quorum and were unable to impeach him. Well, this week they got the numbers. 11 members of the president's own party voted to impeach him. So he was impeached. The vote was 202 to 85 or something. Something like that. And so he has been impeached. And apparently the way it works over there, they don't do like a whole trial and stuff like we do here. The Korean Supreme Court just reviews the case and either upholds it or denies it. But he is suspended from his duties immediately once that vote took place. But the Supreme Court can reinstate him if they deny the impeachment, or if they uphold it, he'll be removed permanently. So that's where we're at. The Supreme Court has 180 days to make that decision, although the last time this happened, because apparently this happened just a few years ago, they took 91 days to make their ruling, and in that case they ruled to impeach and the president was removed. So that's where we're at.
It's a fascinating thing to watch. The processes are so different in so many ways from anything that would happen here. And like when I saw this, I was like, well, how are they already voted not to impeach him, but then when you explained it was because they didn't have a quorum, there's obviously a mechanism to bring it back and do it again and do double jeopardy basically.
Yeah.
And the guy's screwed. He's politically done, isn't he?
I would assume so. I don't know. I've seen people complaining. I have Korean friends. I lived there for 7 years, and I have friends. And they've been posting on social media that they're pissed.
You lucky bastard. You have friends, you son of a bitch.
Aren't we friends, James?
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting that. Carry on.
But, yeah, they've been posting about how often he's doing national addresses, and they find it annoying.
Is that him trying to rally public support for himself?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Also, the leader of the opposite or of the ruling party, that's not the president's party, the ruling party in the assembly, the leader of that is being asked to resign for some reason, and so that might happen. I know he had scheduled a press conference for Saturday. I didn't see what happened. Korea's 14 hours ahead, if I remember correctly.
And I haven't heard a whole lot about. I would think that this would be an opportunity for the petulant dwarf that leads the country to the north to be like saying a lot of shit. And I haven't heard anything coming out of North Korea about what maybe they don't know. It's possible they don't know.
Now, Kim Jong-un would know.
Yeah, but he doesn't want his people to know, maybe, because
No, that could be.
Yeah,
doesn't want his people to know that you can change the leader.
Oh yeah, but he's got people dying left and right apparently in Ukraine.
True.
Which, what did you expect?
Yeah. Well, anyway, that'll be interesting to watch how Korea goes forward. Right now, the prime minister has assumed the presidential duties. And
do we know anything about the prime minister in terms of where his policies are, or what does that matter?
I don't know if it matters. He's not going to stay there. I don't know. Korea Times had a huge article about how this entire thing is bad for the country because there's like a leadership vacuum, and there's probably going to be fighting to see who's running in the election that'll happen 60 days after the Supreme Court upholds that vote, if they do that. So that'll be interesting.
I would think that Supreme Court would want to expedite this for that reason, specifically, is to close that power vacuum and return to stability in the country.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
All right. In other news, ABC, the TV network, they've settled a defamation lawsuit with Trump for $15 million. They're paying Trump $15 million, and George Stephanopoulos has to apologize.
Oh my fucking God.
To Trump on TV for defaming him. Now, I don't really understand this story, because what George Stephanopoulos had said was that Trump was saying it to Nancy Mace, the piece of shit congresswoman, in my opinion. And he said Trump was found liable for rape. Is that false?
This is gonna become a real fucking clusterfuck, because there were people who sought clarification from the judge that handed down the order on that case regarding E. Jean Carroll. I'm gonna try to find provenance on the idea that the judge clarified, yes, he did grape this person, because if that's not true, then
I've heard other people say that on TV.
I have too.
So
I don't know, because what I saw in this settlement deal was
I've seen Congress people say it.
Well, yeah. Is that the judge in this case made the distinction that there is enough of a difference between what was sentenced and declared in that E. Jean Carroll case and what the definition of fucking rape is, that made Stephanopoulos' statement defamatory. So
yeah,
there was
legal semantics, because
technically,
I guess he's paying E. Jean Carroll because he called her a liar when she claimed she was raped by him. That's so, because that case was a defamation case too.
Yeah.
And it was because he was calling her a liar and saying other horrible things about her. But if he was proven to have not being he was not truthful when he said that he did not rape her, doesn't that mean that he did rape her? I don't know. It's logic.
The thing that I hate about this the most is that the ugliest, filthiest, most disgusting people are going to take this and run with it and say, see, he's not a rapist. And I'm waiting for that, and I'm dreading that just infinitely.
I can see the elder millennial saying it right now.
Oh, I'm sure he already has. But this is a case of the media capitulating to Trump that is becoming something that needs to be assessed further, because this started more or less in the most public way with Joe and Mika on MSNBC and their capitulation to Trump and their normalization of Trump. And now ABC, for whatever reason, has decided to capitulate on this, which I don't think they should have. I think they should have seen it through, but maybe it was the fact that the judge gave some inference that if this is up to me, it's going to be defamation. But the media is falling at Trump's fucking feet.
Yeah. So I don't know. The next few years are going to be interesting and probably terrible.
Well, yeah. Let me talk about that for a second, because one of the other things that's not on our agenda for today, but I sent you an article late last night. I don't know if you read it, having to do with what Biden should be doing as he leaves office.
I did read that.
Yeah, in order to insulate large numbers of people from the bullshit that Trump has declared he's going to pull. And I struggle with this because I think Biden is going to struggle with this, with what is being implied that he needs to do in issuing preemptive blanket pardons to like swaths of the military and the justice system and so on and so forth. And so it's being called into question whether or not there's such thing as a preemptive, because it's stated, well, like when he pardoned Hunter, it says for any crimes not yet committed. It's kind of weird. But it is setting a precedent that has never existed before, that there's always been an amicable and peaceful, even if they are bitter enemies during a campaign, an amicable and peaceful and orderly transition to the next administration. That's not what this is. This is completely, this is fucked territory all the way around. And I'm sure Biden, being a traditional politician, is like, I can't do this. I can't undermine the next president coming in, because that's what it would be. It's undermining his agenda. His agenda is horrible. It's terrible. And people are saying you need to issue blanket pardons, which may be called into question legally, but this never existed for us before. This is horrible.
Now, here's the thing. Biden shouldn't have to do that, because if crimes were not committed, you should have no fear of being convicted of crimes. However, we've seen Trump-appointed judges make some crazy rulings in various places. I don't trust the justice system anymore at all.
Right, but even if whatever Trump is going to pursue these people for never reaches the standard to achieve an indictment or a conviction, everything between when he starts going after somebody up to the point where there may or may not be a conviction or an indictment is stuff that can fucking ruin people's lives.
True.
And don't get it twisted. That's what he wants to do. He wants to punish people, and it doesn't matter to him if the charges he's going to bring against people are legit and convictable. It's just that he wants to ruin their lives. That's what he wants to do. This is an intimidation technique. This is fucking fascism on every goddamn definition of it. So whether or not
how he treats contractors that he hires in his business dealings, where he doesn't pay them, and then he fights them tooth and nail in the courts when they're trying to get paid, to the point that they run out of money. I've seen plenty of contractors tell sad stories about how they lost their business because they did work for Trump and never got paid, and then spent all their money fighting him in court until they had none left.
There's a very clear history of everything he touches goes to shit. There's no example of something Trump has touched that has flourished. There is no example of that whatsoever.
Yes, something just popped in my head that I saw last night. I don't remember where it was, but Trump was at some event, and there's video. You got to look this up. There's video of the people around him that very clearly appear to be in olfactory discomfort.
Oh yes, this was in Paris, in France. Oh my God.
They're all looking around like, what is that smell?
Oh my fucking God. And he's all fucking hunched over in his chair, just looking like a little lost boy who literally shit himself.
Yep.
Oh my God. Fuck.
I cannot believe people voted for that guy.
This is insane. We've got at least 4 years, because I don't know what the fuck comes out the other side of this at the end of these 4 years. That is the biggest question mark, is what the fuck comes after this? This isn't going to be.
What are people going to do in the midterms? How bad is Trump going to make it in the first 2 years, and what will that do to the voters in the midterms?
Well, I think there's everything on the agenda of the Republican Party leading up to the midterms is going to be taking actions and driving legislation that is going to engineer and solidifying them into the system and giving no option to remove them. There's going to be so much shenanigans and bullshit that goes on.
By the way, if you voted for Trump because you wanted cheaper eggs, he admitted this week that he probably can't do anything about the grocery prices.
I made a post this morning talking about how the idea that people voted for Trump because he's going to make things more affordable is a core tenet of fucking communism. Government controlling prices is communism. And these motherfuckers have been begging for communism without saying the word, because they're afraid of the word. It's a boogeyman.
Yeah, well, his argument was everything will get cheaper if we drill for more oil. What people don't seem to realize is that we are drilling for more oil now than we ever have before.
Yeah. That's clearly easy to demonstrate that our oil production domestically is higher than it's ever been. So What the fuck?
Truth, wouldn't it be amazing if our politicians had to tell the truth during their campaigns? That would be amazing.
All people need to do, I mean, politicians can continue to be the lying pigs that they've always been, but if people would just educate themselves on fucking reality, this would be a very different place, because people would be reacting to their lies like you and I react to them, and like, you're full of shit. This isn't going to happen at all. So there's just not enough people that are able to use the fucking brains.
Yeah. All right. In other news, I've said all along that I didn't think TikTok was actually going to get banned, but it appears as though it actually is now. A federal appeals court denied TikTok's request to delay the ban until the Supreme Court could hear their arguments. And the appeals court denied that. So the ban is going to happen on January 19th, unless the Supreme Court steps in before then, which is unlikely.
Well, but even then, there's a 90-day grace period, and there's all kinds. So on this issue, and I was made aware of this by a friend of mine last night, that there's this creator. His name's Tommy. He's a relatively big political creator. I know you've seen him.
I know him. Good dude or something.
No, that's dude. Good trouble. Tommy's. I'm
not thinking about it's dude something though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. He's so big we don't know who he is.
I can picture him.
He made a post last night. He made a post last night talking about the TikTok ban and the algorithm. So what he and because there's different algorithms for creators based on like how popular you are. There's literal different algorithms that handle the traffic for your content. He's in like the mid tier, like under like Aaron Parnas and Harry, whatever his name is, and these bigger creators, where the algorithm treats you differently. So these guys will typically see, people like Tommy will typically see hundreds of thousands of views on their videos within an hour or less. And what he noticed, and other creators in his tier have noticed, is that his videos are getting almost no views, like literally just triple digits at best. And somehow or another, he put together and he didn't just pull this out of his ass, he has some provenance to it, that TikTok is is rearranging the algorithm for creators in the United States to either subvert the ban or to just continue operating so that the parameters of the bill that's going to quote unquote ban TikTok, which I'll talk about that also, isn't running foul against the law once it becomes law. So he's saying that the impact that mid-level creators are seeing in terms of their views dropping is TikTok is rewriting the algorithm to separate out the American users and content creators from the rest of the space. So that may be what TikTok is doing to satisfy the demands of this law in order to stay alive in the United States, is because it's the algorithm, right? It's the algorithm that the government has said, oh, it's terrible. It's China. Anyway, he's thinking that that's what they're doing. Now, I've gone back and I've looked at this fucking bill. Really the only thing that happens in this bill, first of all the hyperbole about if you use a VPN, you're going to prison, according to this bill. No, the fuck you're not. Stop saying that. And you won't even need to use an algorithm, because the only thing mechanically is that the app won't be available in the app stores. That's it. There's nothing else going on with this. From the user experience, I don't know how TikTok's corporate offices in the United States are going to be affected by this if it becomes law, but it's just not going to be available for download. There's still
that will cause problems eventually, though, because you also won't get updates.
Right, but here's what I think is that if it goes the worst possible path and TikTok is banned in the United States, and so it's out of the app stores, somebody is going to create an app that will be available in the app stores that will automate side loading TikTok and side loading the updates. I guarantee somebody's going to put that in there. It won't show up in the Apple App Store because the Apple App Store is fucking horrible, but the Android App Store, it's going to be there for sure. Somebody's going to create an app that you put on your phone, and it'll pull down the APK for TikTok. Anytime there's a new one, it'll find it and it'll bring it to your phone and update it. The whole thing.
There is a subreddit that already posted that. They posted.
Oh, really?
APK. Yeah, I found that last week.
Fuckers stealing my ideas constantly.
Yeah, if you can. Yeah, it was a link in a subreddit that you could click on. I don't know if it was in the TikTok subreddit. I don't know where I saw that, but I saw it somewhere.
That what took you to where the APK is?
Yeah, so you could download it directly.
Yeah.
And
granted,
not through the App Store.
Yeah, the Luddites out there in social media aren't going to be able to navigate that and do it very effectively, and they're going to get frustrated with it and tired of it. But I don't know. I just don't think it's as big a deal. There's a new app that's coming out called Jupiter, which is founded by queer women, and it is going to be a direct knockoff of TikTok, and it's looking really good, and I want to get in as a beta tester for it. So I'm going to try to pursue that process today. But Jupiter is it Jupiter? Yeah, it's Jupiter.
I haven't heard of that.
Oh yeah, I'll send you links to their.
That'll be nice. But the thing is, the true value of TikTok is the algorithm. It is incredible at showing you people like you. It is incredible, better than anything else at it.
Yep.
I talk about the YouTube algorithm. It shows if you watch one person's video, it'll just show you that one person's video the next time you log in, like, their next video or something, or like the last 3 things you watched. If you subscribe to 10 YouTube channels, but you watch like 2 of them one week, the next week you won't see the other 8. They're just like gone.
I've never noticed that. Now I totally see that.
Yeah, the YouTube algorithm sucks. And it hardly ever shows you things like what you watch.
Yeah, like I'm subscribed to hundreds of fucking YouTube channels, but I haven't seen content from them in forever. And then I'll just randomly go through my list of who I've subscribed to, and I'll directly go to their stuff to see it, and then it starts showing back up again.
Yeah,
fucking weird.
So, all right. Anything else of import, or can we move on to the silly stuff? Well, some of it's silly.
Yeah,
let's speculative.
The drone stuff, I hate it. It's mass hysteria and it's stupid.
Well, a lot of the videos I see on TikTok are clearly planes and helicopters, but not all of them. Some of them are definitely drones, and they're definitely drones flying at night over populated areas. That's a little weird.
It's not weird.
I believe 100% that the federal government knows exactly what's happening, and they're, if not a part of it, like it's a defense contractor or something, they're at least condoning it. But it is interesting that local municipalities and stuff don't know what it is, because that's who you see complaining. Governors, mayors, sheriffs, they're all complaining.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 100% certain it's a defense contractor testing their equipment, and they're doing this in different environments in different places. There's no, if I were to go to the edge of Eglin or Hurlburt base and try to fly my drone, first of all, it would be impossible, because the drones that I fly are DJI, which the government uses DJI drones too, but the drone won't even take off because it'll be in a class A or whatever airspace, and it won't take off. But if I could take off, and if I started flying a drone like around the edge of Hurlburt, they would fucking be on me like stink on shit in no time. The fact that that's not happening in these cases means that they're part of this process. They're involved.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's just,
I don't know. I still don't like it. I don't like it because things that I feel they could be doing is testing how they're going to use drones to control protesters or something, or how they're going to use drones to find crimes happening. Like, are we just going to have drones flying overhead watching us commit crimes?
Yeah, we are.
That's horrifying. I don't like it.
Well, yeah. And let me bring up another point. There's a bunch of these fucking ammo-sexuals on TikTok that are saying, yeah, you don't see this happening in Texas because we'll shoot them down. No, the fuck you won't. You if you do, you're going to be charged with a federal crime. It doesn't matter.
I did see a video of someone in New Jersey shooting at one. I don't know if it was real because he had tracers. Would a normal person have tracers?
Well, a lot of these ammo-sexuals aren't normal people, so yeah, they might. But yeah, that's crazy because so that video, there's a reporting process to the FAA. You send that to the FAA, they're going to send somebody out and put this motherfucker in cuffs without even thinking about it.
Yeah,
it's stupid. You cannot harass drones in flight. I pissed some people off because I made that post and I said I can fly my drone. Flying over private property is not prohibited. Flying over public spaces where it is stated to be prohibited is against city ordinances. But I pissed people off. So I said I can fly my drone over your house all fucking day and you can't do a goddamn thing about it. No, they went fucking off. That was the right thing to say.
Well, there was a guy that shot at an Amazon delivery drone or a Walmart delivery drone. He got arrested. That was a few months ago.
Stupid people.
He did get arrested for that. And if that video of the guy shooting at the drones in New Jersey is real, he's going to get arrested too.
Yep.
All right. LeBron James. Do you know what I'm going to talk about LeBron James?
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
You don't know who LeBron James is?
No.
Okay. Most of our audience, I think, would. He's an NBA basketball player. He's
okay.
One of possibly the best ever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a debate whether it was, old people think Michael Jordan was better, but most millennials and younger think LeBron James is the best player ever. He's been missing. He plays for the Lakers, and he missed a game and then missed a practice, and then the team said he's not with the team right now. Now, he is old, so it could be a health issue, but they said it was personal reasons, and I just want to point out something else that is currently happening, and that is the investigation into P. Diddy and his exploits. And there is a very famous video of LeBron James. I don't know what the context was, if he was on a TV show or on a podcast or something, but LeBron James saying, there ain't no party like a P. Diddy party.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that clip. Okay.
So it is possible, some people think, that maybe he's involved in that, and might be in New York, testifying about his alleged attendance at P. Diddy parties.
Or he may have absconded to the Turks and Caicos and is in hiding.
It could be. Don't know, but that's interesting. I think it's interesting I mean, he could just be hurt, or he could just have a family issue that he's dealing with. It could be a lot of things. I don't want to say that it's definitely that, but that's an interesting speculation.
Yeah, apparently Diddy's having a hard time. Go figure. I guess his lawyers have filed suit against the jail that's holding him, saying they've violated his rights by inspecting the stuff in his cell. That's fucking stupid. Don't file stupid challenges to shit like this, because that's ridiculous. Yeah. That they violated lawyer client privilege or some shit it's just ridiculous. He should be in prison for the rest of his natural fucking life.
Yeah. All right. Other things. You texted me a movie that you said you watched called Heretic. I watched it too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting. It went a little differently than I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to be a
anti-Islam.
Huh?
Anti-Islam.
No, I thought that Hugh Grant's character was just gonna.
Oh, Heretic! I'm thinking of the Pope one. I'm sorry. Yeah, Heretic. Oh, yeah.
I thought he was just gonna convince those Mormon girls to abandon their religion, and it was gonna go like that.
Yeah.
But it turned out a little bit differently.
It was fucking wild.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I'm gonna watch Carry On today.
Carry On.
Yeah, it's a new movie on Netflix. It's Jason Bateman. It's a Die Hard style thing. At an airport.
Okay, yeah, I saw that one on TikTok. Is that out? So okay,
yeah, it's out. I got it, so I'm gonna watch that today. I also watched the new Venom movie. That was entertaining, but it wasn't great.
I tried. I made it about a third of the way through, and it was just predictable and boring. Give up on it. I watched the full season 1 of Day of the Jackal, which is on Sky TV in the UK. It was very good. Eddie Redmayne is a very strange actor. He was in the Harry Potter spin-offs. I don't know who he was playing, but he was the main character in the recent Harry Potter spin-off movies. It's very good. It's very Jason Bourne-ish, but the side stories and the character development is definitely worth it. And I was bummed to find out there is not yet a season 2, and it's probably going to be a couple of years before it comes out.
God damn it. I hate that shit.
I do too.
It's like, what's that other Netflix show with the kids? It takes place in the 80s. Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
That's been going on for like more than 10 years.
Is it still going on?
Been 4 seasons. Yeah, there's the 5th and final season is due sometime in 2025.
Yeah, because it used to come out in sync with Halloween. They always used to release the new seasons. But
yeah, maybe the first 2 or 3 seasons did that, but there was a long wait between season 3 and 4. That was because of COVID, probably.
Yeah.
And then there's been a big break between season 4 and season 5, possibly because of the writer's strike. I don't know. But yeah, the final season, which is the other thing that they're going to do, is they're going to split it in 2. I don't like that either. They'll give you half the season at once and then half the season the next year or something shit like that. I think they're going to do that too.
Okay, a couple other things. I'm looking at my Plex right now because I can never remember what I've watched because I binge on so much shit. Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. What the fuck?
Did you enjoy that? I mean, I watched that years ago. I don't necessarily remember it, but I do remember some of the episodes specifically, and I thought it was good.
It's classic Guillermo del Toro. He can't do anything bad. He's really good at everything he does. I loved it. Another one that came out recently on Amazon, Secret Level. If you're not a gamer geek, you won't appreciate Secret Level.
I am aware of that. I might watch that today instead.
Oh, you need to watch it. The Pac-Man one is so fucking off the hook. It is.
I mean, I saw the trailer for it a few weeks ago, and I thought it looked amazing. I showed it to my brother. He hadn't heard of it. He's a huge gamer.
Yeah.
The awesome.
The Warhammer episode is fucking glorious, and it's got me completely hyped for Henry Cavill's Warhammer series, multiple series that he's going to produce, I think, with Amazon. And that it's if it looks anything like what they did in this secret level episode for Warhammer, it's going to be fucking amazing. Now there's one other thing that I've started watching, and I'm sticking with it. I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in. It's called 100 Years of Solitude. It's a foreign series, and I'm going to say is check it out and see if you wind up with the same interest in it that I have. It's a very different thing. It's called 100 Years of Solitude.
I feel like I've heard of that.
I don't know how old it is because I don't keep track of when these things came out. It's only relevant when I found out about them, because that's all that matters to me.
Right.
I did watch season 5 of Silo last night. I don't want to give you spoilers because I'm sure
episode 5
or episode 5 of
I
Silo.
think I've only watched the first 3, so there's 2 that I can watch, I guess.
Yeah, it's doing all right. It's the rhythm of season 2 is following the typical rhythm where it's now in the middle of the season, so it's a slow episode. But then what you know is that it's the remaining episodes are going to pick up the pace pretty quick. So I'm liking it.
Cool. All right. How's your weather down in Florida?
65 right now, gray and overcast. We had a couple of cold nights, but how about you?
Well, yesterday was 15 degrees. So that was no good. It's in the 20s now, but it's warming up. It's supposed to be in the mid 30s today and 51 tomorrow. Can't wait. We got 6 more inches of snow on top of the feet that we had before, although a lot of that melted because we had some rainy days in between. So yeah, I still can't get in my driveway because the city dumped a big pile of snow that is now a block of ice at the end of my driveway when they were doing cleanup from the original 4 feet of snow we got.
Do you have any rivers near where you live?
No, we have creeks. We have Lake Erie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's water.
One of the big things that used to be, and still is, I think, potentially problematic when I lived in Vermont was ice damming on the rivers. And it would happen because there would be a long cold period, and so the rivers would be iced up. There'd be a lot of snowpack, and then there would be a rapid thaw, and these chunks of ice would break off, but then they would dam up the river and create flooding. Like there have been massive floods in like Montpelier, Vermont. And so what they have set up along like the Winooski River is one of the main rivers that comes down through Vermont, goes through Montpelier. On the river, they have these stations with these gantries and these large weights that the only purpose of these things is when there is the thaw is beginning and the ice is beginning to break up, these weights will drop and break the ice up so that it doesn't come off in large chunks and dam up the river. It's fascinating to see.
Cool.
But yeah, I would think since you don't have rivers.
Yeah, we don't have a significant river here at all.
You're in luck then.
But
Mother Nature's.
There are cool ice structures that form on the beaches. If they form, it's like the waves coming in, freeze, and make these big.
Yes, I've
ice
seen
structure.
that.
So, maybe in January or February, if we have enough cold days in a row and the lake actually freezes, I'll go take some pictures of those.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've seen that before. It's kind of an ASMR experience too, because it's crazy to watch.
Yeah,
it's cool.
All right. Like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever. We're up to 20 subscribers on YouTube now. We're big time.
That's cool. We're moving up.
Big time. We're still getting 300 average daily listeners on the podcast app. So if you are one of those 20 or one of those 300, thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back next week with more shenanigans and more assessment and more things for you to be aggrieved about. So until then, stay safe, people.
Yep.
Adios.
Goodbye.